Hi, Lisa Soland here again with part 2, interviewing author extraordinaire Bette Reed Smith. She is one of Climbing Angel Publishing's authors, and not only is she in the book we're discussing today called PERUSHA'S Paradise, but she's also got 2 lovely short stories in an anthology that will be released November 1st, which is the Climbing Angel Christmas Treasury, and it's a collection of short stories and poems. Bette, thank you for allowing me to come into your home in a sense and interview you today about your lovely book. And I should know because I read it, maybe not as many times as you have, but as editor, I loved working on it with you. I just think it's a great story addressing the situation of bullying. So in the second interview today, I just wanted to talk with you a little bit to the writer in you. You have an idea of what you want to do, and unlike many people who have ideas, you actually sat down and executed the idea. You made it happen. Talk with me about the process of writing in general, maybe, or if you'd like specifically to this story.
Well, actually, the process is pretty much the same for me in any story. First, I get inspired with an idea, and then I just write, and I do it longhand. I write everything that I think goes into this story. Yeah. And then after I've gotten to a certain point, sometimes I can't get all the way to the ending, but after I'm pretty satisfied with the way it's going, and I think I'm coming to a possible end, I reread it, and this process takes a lot longer because then I find out all the places where the grammar wasn't correct, or the punctuation, or any of those things, or the things that were superfluous. Like if I've written the same thing in a different way, then I think, well, that's not necessary to have that in twice. And so then I do that. The first, I guess that would be called the first draft. I've by now I have already put it onto the computer so that edits are much faster and less messy in my hand. Nobody else could read that page, but then I go through it and decide, as I said, what fits and what doesn't fit, and try to get to so that I have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning has to set up some kind of a problem, something that will cause people to read more. The middle is kind of working on this problem, deciding how they're going to solve it, and the end is going through the solution. So that's my process anyway. And I think in all of my stories and all of the things that I've written for plays, I've written a lot of shorts for plays, and I wrote one full-length piece also. I think in all of them, it's the same thing: the beginning, the middle, and the end. And in chapters, there might be a beginning, middle, and end of the chapter. Right. But in the total picture, it has to fit that way so that people will have a reason to go to beyond the beginning, and they will find something in the middle that makes them want to find out what happens at the end. So that's my process.
Wonderful. And I think as it relates to your story, PERUSHA'S Paradise, and what is the subtitle again? How the kingdom dealt with
how the peaceful kingdom successfully dealt with a bully.
With a bully. So it's definitely, you have a wonderful setting that you place the theme in, this kingdom where nothing ever goes wrong and everybody's super happy. And then suddenly the problem's introduced. A bully comes into that community. And I love how you deal with it.
Idyllic kingdom. And when they do have, if someone becomes ill, they have a party for them. There are parties for everything, and everyone is happy. No one, the children like to go to school, and the teachers are very sensitive to the fact that they need playtime after school, so they don't give them too much homework. It only rains at night, so that every day is perfect for them to play outside, and all of these wonderful things until the bully moves in.
The bully. And isn't that the truth? Some person who's in a rotten mood, in this case, he was always in a rotten mood. He enters into the kingdom where people aren't, and things change. And then they try to figure out how to solve the problem. And the solution is a great solution. In this case, it actually works, and it's wonderful. Tell me about your illustrator.
My illustrator, Samuel Jack, I met him in the class that I took in February with Lisa. And he, at the time, he said, she was looking for an illustrator, and she said, I do illustrations. So when Lisa had told me that she would publish the book, I had a friend who didn't feel comfortable at the time doing it, so she recommended Samuel Jack, and he was wonderful. Not only was he wonderful, but he had a lot of really good ideas, such as this one. When Carl the Castle Keeper was describing his interaction with Bob the Bully, I said, well, Bob the Bully looks more like an animal. And he said, that is in Carl's point of view. This is his description, and it's in his point of view. And so he did it where his what he was describing was in the background. It's like in his mind. And I said, well, that really makes sense. That's perfect.
Yeah, because when we're fearful, sometimes we don't interpret something accurately.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very clever.
And then Perusha, well, if you notice, the other characters are all kind of cartoony, which is great. I love them. Let me see. Here's the king and the queen. And but I wanted Perusha to be more realistic, and it took us a while to get to it, but here she is with her kitty cat.
And without her tiara.
And without a tiara.
Just more of a simple, down-to-earth woman with a full gown.
And Perusha, the cat, was also an inspiration for the story because she ran around like she was a princess.
And that was your cat.
That was my cat, yes.
Yeah, that's a great story. So she named the main protagonist in the story after her cat. I think it's great. I don't remember the year that you and I were working together in that workshop when you introduced the story to me, but that's a good thing to talk with writers about. That if you write a story and you put it in your treasure chest of stories, don't ever give up hope on that. Someday it might come to the right publisher or the right person who believes in it. And lo and behold, there you go. You have a publication.
It was actually 2004. And
oh my word.
Yeah. So it was a while in that treasure chest. I did send it to one publisher, and it was not accepted. So I just kind of left it by the wayside. I tried to do it as a performance, and that didn't work out. And so I went writing other, mostly shorts for the Whitefire Theater.
And they were so smart to produce so many of your 10-minute plays and one acts. I just love your writing. In fact, I love it so much. I published Self-Checkout, right?
Right. Yeah.
31 act plays for passionate actors. And it included one of your plays, and you have so many others. It'd be great for you to put out maybe a collection of your short plays. Really wonderful work. You have a great mind, Betty.
Well, and it works best when I take a class or I get together with other writers.
Why?
Even with other friends, I get inspired talking about something that is important to me, and then talking with other people and other writers, all of these ideas come into my head, and
we need each other, don't we?
Yeah.
I've been highly made aware of that with this, with the world and the pandemic, and how, we're on Zoom. Of course, you're in Los Angeles and I'm on the other side of the country, but still, you and I have to be on Zoom, but we all know what Zoom is now. We all know what is it, FaceTime and all those ways to communicate through the internet, but it's not the same, is it, as being in person?
No.
No, we need community.
But it certainly has helped. It certainly has helped during the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. Thank God. Yeah, that we've had this. Well, thank you for part 2 of this interview, and we will hook up again with part 3. Thank you.
Thank you.